Okay, in this video, I'm gonna demonstrate how I would create a laser cut drawer in my uh, desktop organizer. So I created this desktop organizer, and I'll go over how I made this phone stand part in just a moment. But this is how I create like a drawer in the side of this. So what I would do first is I would go ahead and create a sketch on the surface. And I know that the bottom of the drawer needs to slide along the bottom of the box, otherwise it will sag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use construction lines to outline where I want the drawer to be. Okay, so I want my drawer to be a smaller drawer. So I'm going to go about halfway point here, come over here, and then I'm going to go ahead and get rid of everything else. Once that's about how I want my drawer, except that if I have it right to the edge, it's probably going to slide against the front wall. So I have to move it in some. So I need to only move it in about 1/10 of an inch. I need to move it in about 1/10 of an inch. So we're going to go ahead and dimension that from the edge, 1/10 of an inch. So maybe about 1/10 of an inch. And do the same thing on the other side. Just draw a line about 1/10 of an inch from the edge. Go ahead and dimension that 1/10 of an inch. And then the rest of my lines, I'm just going to go ahead and draw in between the lines. So now I have this nice little rectangular shape, and I'm going to go ahead and remove extrude that from the front or the side of the box. It looks a little off-centered. It's not. It's just that there's more blue over here than there is over here because of this finger joint here. Okay, so in order to fix that, I'm going to actually have to go in and do my laser joint a little bit differently. Probably have to do an automatic laser joint. Instead of doing automatic laser joint, I'm going to go ahead and do. So I'm going to get rid of my laser joints real quick. Get rid of my laser joints. Actually, I didn't need to get rid of those laser joints. I need to get rid of these laser joints up here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these laser joints. And instead, when I do that, actually, that's going to mess up the sketch. So we're going to leave it out as it is right now. And I'm going to go in and fix it afterwards. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is create a rectangle. Create a rectangle. Or I can use the same sketch. So I'm going to go ahead and use the same sketch. So we're going to turn the sketch on. And now we're going to use that sketch to extrude a new box. So we're going to go box. We're going to change the direction. And in this case, I'm going to look at the top. And I want it to go. You can choose manually how far you want it to go. Do you want it to be a full box or do you want it to be a half box? So I want it to be a full box. So I'm going to go up to face. And the face that I want to go up to is up to this face. So now I have a new box. Just make sure that was set to new. Make sure that was set to new. Okay, so now that that's set to new, I'm going to go ahead and hide all parts except for that part. So I can right click and hide. Let's just highlight everything. Right click and hide. Hide parts. Hide everything. And then let's turn on our last part that we just made. Make it visible. And we can go ahead and hide sketch 7. So now that sketch 7 is hidden, I'm going to go ahead and thicken both sides, do the thickening process. Change the direction, 0.125. Make sure it's on new. And do it again. Here and here. I'm going to change the directions, make it 0.125. And finally, oops, it should have been set to new. New. And finally, I'm going to do the bottom. Thickening the bottom, changing the direction, setting it to 0.125. And new. Okay, so those are done. Go ahead, delete the first part that I made for the drawer. So delete part 11, and now I have this. I'm going to go ahead and add my laser joint to just this now. So by doing just laser jointing on this, I want adaptive pin sizing. It will not interfere with the laser joining on the other parts that I had. Okay, so just to show you what it looks like, now we have all of these parts and we have a drawer. Okay, now I have a drawer on the side. Now my drawer doesn't really do anything right now. It doesn't slide because it's not assembled, and it's probably pretty tight. But I do need to put a handle on the drawer so that I could open the drawer up. So what I could do is I could make a drop down handle. So I'm going to go ahead and do a new sketch on the surface. We're going to go normal to that surface. Find the middle of that point, that line right there. It's right there. Do a circle. Make it a half circle. Trim away the rest. And then I can extrude through that part. I can remove and go through that part and have a drawer that I can pull out that way. Another thing I could do is I can add handles. So, because remember, you do have to have 3D printed part. So I'm going to go ahead and add handles to this. So let's go ahead and hide all the other parts except for the drawer. So we're going to hide everything except for the drawer. And we're going to put a handle on this. So now the handle can't just be glued on the side. It needs to fit into the part itself. So let's go ahead and make a new sketch. And first thing we're going to need to do is make a hole. So let's make a hole. And this hole is going to be, we want it to be somewhat centered. So if we hover over the edge and the center of the top line and the edge of the center on the side line, these dashed lines come up. And when I get to the center of the part, I can put a point right there for my hole. I'm going to go ahead and click check mark. And then I'm going to use my hole tool to make this hole. And I want to make the hole, the diameter of the hole, no bigger than 1/4 of an inch. You don't want to make it too terribly large. We're going to go ahead and make this 0.25. And I don't want it to go through all. I want it to go blind. And the depth is going to be 0.125 or whatever. It's all the way through. So it's already set at 0.2, which is more than 0.125. So it's going to go through that one wall. So now I have a hole, and I'm going to use that hole to create the handle part. So create a sketch on the surface. I'm going to go to new and then select the hole to select use and then go select the hole. And it will give me that circle that matches that hole. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my extrude function. So I'm going to finish that sketch. Let's go ahead and rename this. This is handle hole. I should be renaming my sketches. Now, handle hole. Because these are parts and not just walls. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude the handle hole. And I'm going to make it the other direction. Go the other direction. And the distance I want to go is going to be just beyond the wall. So I'd say 1/8 of an inch beyond the wall. So if the wall's 0.125, we could say 0.125 times 2, and it'll give it just beyond the wall. And we're going to make sure this is set to new because we want it to be a new part. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add the front part of the handle. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude the front part of the handle. or create the front part of the handle, excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new sketch on the surface. I'm going to go ahead and use this circle tool to create a circle that's larger than the circle that I created. So it's going to be 0.25, sorry, 0.5, 0.5. And once I have that created, I'm going to now extrude that circle. And let's go ahead and call this the handle. And we're going to add it to part 15. Part 15 or part 16. We're going to add it to part 16. Sorry. We're going to add it to part 16. So it's part of part 16. So that's the base of the handle. And let's go ahead and rename this base of handle. Okay. And then the next thing I'm going to do is create a sketch on this surface. And I'm going to go ahead and, again, using the center, if it was 0.5, I can go 0.75. Finish that sketch. And then we're going to extrude. We're going to extrude sketch 10. And I'm just going to say 0.125 just to keep it nice and tidy. And we're going to call this top of handle. Okay. So once I have the extrusion done, I now have a little handle that sticks out with the nub on the back. I have to create a part that holds that in place. We're not going to use screws for this. So let's create a part that holds this in place. And we can do that simply by, just to make it easy on us, we're going to hide this part, this orange part. So we're going to go ahead and hide the orange part. We're going to turn it this direction. Right click, create sketch, new sketch on the surface, normal. And I'm going to use the center of this again to create a circle. And that circle is similar to the front part of your sketch. We'll say that it's 0.5. All right. And this time we're going to go ahead and extrude this out. Make sure we include the center part of it. Actually, let's just do it this way. Extrude part. And we extruded it a quarter of an inch. So we extruded the nub a quarter of an inch. So we're going to extrude this 0.25. All right. So we should have a new part. Edits. It should be new. Set to a new part.